The views and opinions expressed on this program are those of the participants and do not reflect the views of BronxNet or the program underwriters.
BronxNet. Your voice, your views, your vision.
Straight ahead on this edition of Perspectives, we go front and center with small business and the advantages of having a small business, opportunities for a small business. If you're a small business owner or want to know more about it, stay with us. That's coming up next on Perspectives with yours truly, Darren Hyman.
Relevant to life, you bring it to the table. Whether you make a move solo or a movement with a stable. No fables to speak on your decisions. Cause in the long run, it's your voice, your views, your vision. Keeping it real with many messages for you to know. This ain't radio, but DJ runs the show. Entertainment, he rocks it. Politics, he locks it. The host with the most would handle any topic. Don't forget to share your perspective, which shines a light. Cause it might make a difference in someone else's life. What's your perspective?
And hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Perspectives. I am Darren Hyman. Of course, we invite you to stay connected to our show. You can do that by watching us at BronxNet, www.bronxnet.org. Of course, you're watching Channel 67. You can catch us live on Channel 67. And then also hit us up on our social networking sites. Perspectives on Facebook and then also on Twitter. There you can find out about some past episodes, some future episodes, but most of all, you get the opportunity to leave your comment. Let us know what you think, what you want to see, and if your perspective is cool, guess what? We just might shout it out right here on the show. Coming up on this edition of Perspectives, we are pleased to be joined by a young man who is very familiar with small business, and small business is a major entity in the United States. We want to let you know about some opportunities, some things that are out there, and if you're a small business owner, how you can tap into the wide variety of resources that are available to you right up under your nose and some things you don't know. So Clarence Stanley is here with us, and he is the director of the Small Business Development Center here at Lehman College, and definitely been on the job for a few years, and good to have you coming back with us again.
Thanks again.
Good.
Thanks for having me.
So listen, let's talk about this first of all. Small business. President Barack Obama says it all the time. It is the heart of the American economy.
That's
True, false?
Absolutely correct. 95% of the people in this country work for small businesses. Folks think that they work for the large IBMs and the larger corporations. Small businesses are the lifeblood of the United States. You go take the Bronx, for example. You go along Fordham Road. What do you see? You see a lot of little stores, mom and pop stores. You go to the Differ Hub on 149th Street. You go throughout the Bronx. You see stores and shops and businesses run by small business owners. You go outside New York, you see farms. Farmers are small businesses. And so you think about the entities in this country, this is a country made up of small business entrepreneurs. And then particularly in Bronx County, unique. I think the Bronx is unique in that we talk about the demographics here, the work of the demographic profile of the Bronx. I'm calling my Bronx constituents. Most of our Bronx folks are new to this country. First-time Americans, new Americans, I call them, not immigrants, new Americans. And those folks come in looking to start businesses. They come in with an entrepreneurial bent. And so my job, and I'll challenge at Lehman College, and thank you on your show as well, to show businesses what resources out there to help them be successful.
So you get a lot of people coming through your doors. And give us a little bit of background, exactly what do you guys do at the center to be able to help people?
That's a good question. What we do now, our program is funded by the U.S. Small Business Administration. We have a program, we're matched, our program for the Small Business Administration is matched by the City University. So we have a combination of two things. You have education on one side and economic development on the other side. So the Small Business Administration, President Barack Obama, and the whole congressional delegation looks to help us do whatever it takes to grow small business. To turn this economy around, you need to create jobs. And the way you create jobs is to create enterprise, bring businesses in, let folks start businesses. If you have an existing business, to grow the business. And even more importantly, to get your business started, but how do you sustain a business? Get the business started, and then keep that person in business. We have we were talking about this earlier, a rapidly changing economy. We have a rapidly changing society. We're going to the internet. Everything is on social media. Folks are doing things in their retail stores, but they're also now doing things online. You know, the biggest seller of products in the United States right now is Amazon.com.
Right.
So what's happened? So Amazon.com has kind of taken over Walmart, and you have your larger stores, so the big box stores, the online stores. So how does a retailer, how does my small business owner capitalize on that? Well, guess what? You've got a computer. You have the same opportunities to grow your business that a major company has. My challenge, my job is to show my business owners how to take advantage of that.
Become relevant to the times.
Exactly. Good point.
Is it a hard time? Is it a hard sell to get business owners to become relevant? Because, you know, my mindset goes to a lot of small businesses, mom and pop,
Right.
been around for years, and you go to some stores and they'll tell you today, we only just take cash. Come on, you don't have a credit card machine?
Yeah.
You know, there's no computer. Where I go to some other stores and they don't even have a cash register. You're checking out on an iPad and a card.
Things have changed so rapidly, Darren, and you take a look at the online. I talked to some business, and now I know I can appreciate the guys that are working 7 days a week, 12 hours a day. They don't have time to take a look up and see what's going on. But if they don't take time to take a look at what's going on, they're going to be out of business because things are changing so fast. So we talked, you need technology. I went to a beauty salon recently. My wife goes to a beauty salon up in White Plains and in the Bronx. And what happens is that the lady has technology. She has a state-of-the-art beauty salon. I said, what do you mean by? Well, it reminds her of what she do next for her hairdo. Telephone call comes in. She takes payments in any way you can pay, and she has a record of what her client is doing, what services they need, what products they're using, what products they don't have, and what she has as a database. So you talk to some guys that own these, you know, we talk about bodegas. The days of bodegas are kind of short-lived now because the traditional old bodega no longer, now got to start thinking like a supermarket, a superette. You got to have point-of-sale transactions. You got to have inventory control. You need to know what your customers are buying. You need to know pricing, and you need to know what's working, and you need to be able to be able to order. You know, this thing right now on business is called just-in-time inventory. You know, inventory is money. So if you got stuff sitting in your shelf that's not moving, it's costing you money. So my job, and our challenge on the education side, the economic development side, is to show a business owner you need technology. You need a technology to manage your profit and loss statement, to move things that are not moving. If something's not moving, you need to have a sale to move that stuff.
Right.
To get it sold, get it off the shelf, get what's moving, and find out what your competitors are doing. You need to find out what's working, what's not working, and be able to make those kinds of changes. We talk about banking. I was in the banking world. Banking is no longer what it used to be. You know, when I went to work for a bank, I won't mention the name, back in the day, I went to work for a bank because it was open I like the hours, open 9 to 3.
Right.
Closed on Saturdays, so a nice part. But guess what? Banks are now open 24 hours a day.
That's right.
7 days a week.
9 to 6 if you're going inside.
Inside, with a person there 9 to 6. And you've got now, you're making deposits through your phone. You're paying bills on your computer. I looked at the article this morning. The people are no longer needing branches. You're no longer needing insurance broker. You're no longer needing, so the things are changing. What's it going to? It's going to technology. So if you're not in the technological age, you're not making these changes, you're going to become a dinosaur and you will soon be out of business.
Amazing.
But we're not going to let that happen. Through your show and through our medium here and through the SPDC, we're going to show our business owners how to stay relevant. I think one of the biggest challenges that we have also is, when you mentioned cash businesses, we're trying to change the headset of a lot of business owners. Pay taxes.
Right.
You know, if you have you make money, it goes into your bank account. There are ways to understand. If you understand the tax code, and when you come to me for a loan and you show me a tax return, and it shows very little income, but I know you're making money, I said there's a way that you can legitimately show your income and grow your business to another level. Don't stay mom and pop. You want to go from being that bodega to becoming a superette to becoming a supermarket.
Right.
From a retail store to an online business where you're doing things online. And you're improving your bottom line. Technology.
I want to come back and talk more with Clarence about the Small Business Development Center, some of the things that they got coming up around the corner that you might want to take part in. You're watching Perspectives with yours truly, Darren Jaime. Stay with us. We're coming right back right after this.
Know what?
What? Since I got adopted, I've learned a lot about these humans.
I know. I mean, check out these two. It's Flirt City over here.
Yeah, I noticed that. It looks like my human is definitely into your human.
Oh, look! I think she's getting his number.
Nice.
Your human's got some sweet moves.
Takes after his dog. Oh, look, they're doing that thing where they put their arms around each other.
She kicked up a leg. It's like in the movies.
That's awesome. Looks like we're going to be hanging out a little bit more.
Being a dad can be tough.
No. What do you mean she's not coming?
When's the fairy princess coming?
Any minute now.
But when you're willing to do anything...
It is I, Grooves Zinkerbell. Okay, time for cake.
It's always worth it.
I know it's really you, Drew. I'm just pretending for the other kids.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov.
Look at me. Hey.
Raymond, look at Mommy.
Maybe the light hurts his eyes.
Maybe she's just not hungry. Maybe he can't hear us. Maybe we're not stimulating him enough. Maybe it's a phase.
Avoiding eye contact is one early sign of autism. Learn the others today. The sooner it's diagnosed, the better.
Wow, these are really good.
You act surprised. Practice makes perfect.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who don't need perfection. They need you.
And we're back here on Perspectives, continue our conversation with Clarence Stanley as we're sharing a little bit about small business and the opportunities that are being created right here at Lehman College for people to be able to tap into. And, you know, we were talking a little bit in the break, and I was talking about how things have emerged. And it's amazing how things have emerged. And there was one time where you just did business amongst the city, one time where you really just branched out and did a little more about the state. But now people with the click of a mouse can have the ability to do things on an international basis. I could be interfacing with China. I could be interfacing with Spain.
Absolutely.
So I know you guys have a workshop coming up.
We have a workshop coming up next week on April 1st, right here at Lehman College, 10 o'clock. We're partnering with SCORE, the SCORE chapter in the Bronx, with the Bronx Chamber of Commerce, the Borough President's Office, Bronx Overall Economic Development. So we're all trying to get our Bronx businesses now to not just stay local in Bronx, but to go global. You know, we got an interesting population here in the Bronx. We come from almost every nation on the globe. And I tell folks, you know, you're from South America, you're from Dominican Republic, you're from Africa, you're doing business with your countries. Now let's find and bringing things into the United States. So the Department of Commerce is trying to encourage us to improve our balance of payments, to start turning the ship overseas, go global. Understand that there's 7.5 billion people on the face of the earth, 7.5 with a B, billion people, 300 million Americans. So we make up a very small percentage of the globe's population. So now if you have products that you can import or that you can produce in the United States, I want to encourage you to export and go to start selling to the 1.5 billion people in China. We have an arrangement with the SBA and the SBDC and the SBDC, called SBDC Global. We have an SBDC in almost every country on the face of the earth. If you want to sell your products in China, well, first of all, you can just go on the internet, create your global presence, and start selling your goods overseas. I have clients, for example, from Nigeria and from different parts of Africa that are doing business with their home countries. We have a medical group of doctors that are selling products, used medical equipment, that they're discarding in the United States. They're shipping it to where it's really needed in parts of Africa. So we're trying to show you how to go global. We're selling, New York State is interested. New York State is a wine state. We're one of the biggest producers of wine in the country, other than Washington State and apples. But China is buying all the wine that we can produce in New York State. So what we've done is we're working with the SBDC Global, and if you want to do business overseas, we will connect you with our counterpart in those countries and kind of pave the way for you to do business in those countries.
Because we were kind of talking in the last segment about how some of the mom and pop businesses are really, they just don't even want to go to credit. They want to stay in cash. So I know there has to be this great fear base when you talk about going forward and going to an international base. Talk to us about these small business owners, because is there a lot of fear and trepidation on them on the part of trying to go ahead and go international?
We've got clients in the Bronx that got some unique products. Unique in the sense that they created them, they trademarked them, and got patents and different things, and they got some products that they actually bring them from their own country. And so we say, if you got a retail presence, I can show you how to go on, and this is what the workshop's going to do, how to go online, develop your website, have place order, and your order can come directly through your web, just like Amazon.com, and you can place that transaction. You don't need to take physical access to your product. You can have the product manufactured in wherever you're getting it, and transship it to your customer anywhere in the globe. Now the trick is, how do you get paid? Right. We're going to talk about how you get paid to protect yourself with a letter of credit or something. Talk to you about how can you use that trade agreement that you have to finance a trade agreement. So there's a small mom and pop store that has an idea, can increase their sales, even if it's a 20% increase. Increase your sales or whatever small, start selling overseas without having the inventory in your store or in your shop. Or if you have a guy that's doing a retail clothing, I said, how do he's manufacturing retail clothing. He wants to sell it in the Bronx. I said, well, just not think about the Bronx. Let's create on the website. Let's sell this thing throughout the whole universe. Just go global. So we're talking about that. So on April 1st, we're going to talk about going global, how to protect yourself, and how to reach out to the 7 billion people.
So we want to say the workshops are free and open to the public. We're going to give you the full screen to let you know exactly how you can be a part of this. But seating is limited. It's taking place at Lehman College, 250 Bedford Park Boulevard West, of course, Wednesday, April the 2nd, and that's going to take place at 10 a.m. in the morning. So we want you to come on out and be a part of that, because small businesses are really needing to go global these days, because that's what the competition is doing.
Exactly.
And there's major dollars out there.
Major dollars out there, and we're trying to keep the jobs in America. Create jobs in America. Yes, there are advantages of doing things internationally, but the big thing is to increase your client base.
Well, give me a little bit about this, because one of the things that the president talked about in the State of the Union address was the fact that with the recession being the way that it was, and America taking a back seat economically, the thing that was going to be the engine to really get us to where we needed to go was going to be small business development. What kind of, are there still incentives available for people who want to begin to start their small business? Because at one time I know the president talked about making sure that there was monies available for people who wanted to start or to restart their businesses. If somebody's out there thinking about that, is it a good time?
So it's an excellent thing, and I tell you, it's a very good point. I'm glad you talked on that, because the Small Business Administration went to encourage folks. If someone asks you what I do primarily at the Small Business Development Center, I call myself I'm a finance person. Our job is to put packages. We help you with the business plan, and we help you with the financing. So to encourage financing through the President Obama and the Small Business Administration, we have these SBA loan guarantee. We will guarantee a loan to the bank, anywhere from 50% to 90%. So to encourage a bank to lend you money, in addition to the bank putting their credit guidelines in place, and they encourage banks, banks have a stake in this too. They need to grow businesses. But through the Small Business Administration, we can encourage the business by putting together the plan. The bank is borderline wanting to approve or not approve, but say, well, you know what, the government, the Small Business Administration will stand behind that loan. Should it go into default? Hopefully it won't go into default or the 75. So that gives the banks some more incentive to lend to that small business owner.
Right.
And that's a big incentive.
It's big because a lot of business owners, that's their biggest complaint, that we can't secure funding. And particularly, let's be real, after the recession, banks were supposed to be more lenient. They got a bailout, but it seemed like the small businesses didn't get a bailout.
Exactly. We went to a point now where we bail the banks out, and your major banks had a stake in this country. They were not in a position to lend. Now I'm going to go to their defense just a little bit, because their balance sheets with those mortgages, their balance sheets just weren't strong, and they couldn't support any more debt. Well, now we're at a point now, a very good point in this time, where interest rates had never been lower than they are right now. The prime lending rate in this country, what the banks lend to their prime country customers, is 3.25%, 3.25% for a prime rate loan. The Fed is lending money to the banks at zero. So the banks are paying zero to get money. So that's an engine to try and get money into the economy. So now you've got a time now where real estate prices, not in Manhattan, not in Brooklyn, but different parts of this country, real estate prices have come down. The combination of real estate prices becoming a little more affordable and interest rates being lower. So I encourage every business owner, don't rent your business. Go out and buy your property. If you can buy a piece of property right now in this environment, you're going to get it at a good price. You can get it at a good price at a low interest rate. So I encourage that. And through the SBA loan programs, we have a program called the SBA 504 loan program. You only have to put up 10%. And between the bank and the SBA, we'll finance 90% of that loan. That's the SBA 504. So you see a piece of property, it could cost you $1 million. Well, if you put up 10%, normally you got to put up 25%.
Right.
But now you put up 10%, and we'll finance the rest. You got to tell the business owners, remember, I don't know if you remember back in the day when we had in Harlem, when Harlem was for sale.
Yes.
And when Brooklyn was for sale, you can't touch them now. So now you got to look around those outskirts now to see where there are opportunities. The Bronx is next. I'm in the Bronx now. The Bronx is next because you're starting to see now development in the Bronx. You see Macy's. The Macy's Mall coming up by Co-op City. You got the hotel, 2 hotels being built in the Bronx right now.
Trump building a golf course
Trump
up
building
there.
a golf course. So you got a lot of good things going on. And we talked about the riverfront down by the Willis Avenue Bridge, developing that. So the Bronx is next. Yankee Stadium is all around Yankee Stadium trying to grow. So you're not even starting to see the Bronx now, but I want the people in the Bronx to capitalize on this. I don't want, we call it not gentrification, but urban development. I want urban development to be done by the folks that are here, to take advantage of it. So my biggest challenge, Darren, is letting folks know that I'm here, that I'm a resource. I have my partner, the borough president, Bronx Chamber, all these organizations in the Bronx. We're here to help you take a part of the Bronx, the Kingsbridge Armory, got the ice skating rink coming up, that whole Kingsbridge Road, the complexion is going to change. So how do the business owners on Kingsbridge Road take advantage of this new pedestrian traffic coming in?
Are people taking advantage, Clarence? Because, I mean, you know, sometimes we know that the resources are out there, but we have our own preconceived notions about taking advantage of resources because a lot of people have the I got it mentality. Are people taking advantage of resources?
That's a good point. We know there's some challenges. And so there's a little bit of fear, and folks just wonder, can me as a little guy compete with this big guy coming in? Yeah, so we had a meeting with the Kingsbridge Merchants Association just 2 days ago. The merchants along the strip are concerned now because the landlords want to raise their rents, because they see that's going to happen Bronx-wide. So how do you begin to say, we got other workshops coming up. We work with the Legal Aid Society to talk to businesses. How do you put together a lease that makes sense, a lease that favors the entrepreneur, that does not favor the landlord? I would like you to take advantage of the 504 and you become the landlord. But in light of that, though, if you're going to become a tenant that controls your own destiny. So the resources, going over a good lease, access to capital, social media, that whole cycle, sustain it. And then the big thing, we're going to organize the merchants, all the various associations in those strips. Now we want to make this a destination point. And so we made what's going to be a restaurant row like they did in Brooklyn, different parts of Harlem. They're coming. You make this a technology center. We want to make Lehman a technology center and bring technology and have the students that are here begin to intern with those business owners. So sometimes there's fear, sometimes and I'll tell you the thing that I want folks to understand is that there is some fear. We have a lot of folks that are undocumented. That's real. But and so when something begins to have that person, fear comes in first. Am I going to get in trouble with INS? Am I going to get in trouble with IRS? So what we do is we say, you know, guess what? You are a business owner, you are a corporation, you are an entrepreneur. Let us work with immigration groups. Let us work with the Legal Aid Society. Let's protect you, so that you don't find a reason to want to go out of business because you got this letter that you're afraid of.
Right. Clarence Stanley's here with us. He is the director of the Small Business Development Center here at Lehman College, letting you know about the opportunities. Once again, we'll give you the information after the break. Be a part of that international workshop. But then also, if you have the heart to want to start a small business, stay with us, because right after the break, he's going to give you the info that you need so you can get started right after this.
A single ember from a wildfire can travel over a mile. That ember can ignite and destroy your home or community. You can't control where that ember will land. Only what happens before it does. Visit fireadapted.org to learn how you can help protect your community from wildfires.
Adopting a new pet is a rewarding experience. And Shelter Pets make super pets. Your new best friend will steal your heart, bring you happiness, and enrich your life for years to come. You can make a difference in the life of an animal. Adopt and bring home a Shelter Pet today. To find out more, visit theshelterpetproject.org.
What's your perspective? Express what's in your heart and your mind. Share your perspective. What's your perspective? Let 'em know.
And there you saw a couple of the workshops that are being held by the Small Business Development Center. We're going to talk about them right now. Clarence Stanley is here with us, giving us some final thoughts before we wrap up. With what happened in East Harlem, a lot of tragedy, a lot of small businesses were definitely affected by that. And I know you guys have risen to the challenge of really trying to help businesses to, if a tragedy like that occurs, be able to overcome.
What we've done, if you call for Hurricane Sandy was a disaster, but what began to happen to you, it kind of was a wake-up call. The wake-up call was, how do you protect your documents? How do you back up your thing? How do you find out where everything is? So from a business perspective, we're talking to folks now about, we're having a workshop on the 29th on disaster preparedness. Not just a hurricane disaster, but like East Harlem, how do you back up all your documents? We talk about cloud technology. We talked about backing up things where you can retrieve things if needed for a loan. So we're doing that on the 29th here at Lehman College. Another just segue now back into the international, how to increase your business. We're going to talk about doing business with the federal government and with all government entities. We want to show every business owner that the government is the biggest purchaser of goods in the United States. So once you get a government certified, get a government contract to grow your business. On April 16th, the SBA is hosting a workshop on government, doing business with the government, selling to the government. I'm going to show you how to get a contract, how to get paid, and increase your client base.
For more information, we want you to go to
Lehman College homepage, lehman.edu, or the nyssbdc.org website, or call us 718-960-8806.
I know I got a lot of information out there today.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
No, I really appreciate you, and really, hopefully, people will take advantage of the opportunity. Because as we said, small business is the pipeline to America. Clarence, thank you so much for coming and sharing with us. We hope that if you're out there trying to start a small business, or you are a small business, that you take advantage of the resources. Certainly, America has received a setback with the recession and the economy, but there is a way back, and there's some resources available. We here on Perspectives are glad that we can share this with you, so that way you can take advantage of it. So please take a chance to stop by the Small Business Development Center here at Lehman College, and you'll be able to find out more of the resources and the things that you need so that your business can become more successful and thriving. For all of us here on the Set of Perspectives, Darren Jaime, thanks for watching. Stay safe.
Entertainment, he rocks it. Politics, he locks it. The host with the most would handle any topic. Don't forget to share your perspective, which shines a light, because it might make a difference in someone else's life.